Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to come along here today. Stand in the centre. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to talk to the People's Panel here in Dudley. My role at Transport for West Midlands is Director of Bus and Integration generally. That's making sure that we look at how the modes can and should work together going forwards. But I've been asked to talk today to you about public transport in Dudley. I'm delighted for the opportunity, but first of all, the word that really resonated for me when I was looking at those points around the centres and the work that you've been undertaking is connectivity, because transport is all about connectivity and bringing people together into a sense of place and understanding. So without those key links, then we can't get people into the right places. Just moving on here. The first thing to say is, what a time in Dudley. We are just about to embark on the largest light rail infrastructure project in Europe with regards to the Wednesbury-Brierley Hill Metro extension, with 15 stops, 11 kilometres of line that bring together a £449 million project, the vast majority of that coming from central UK government. The project is going to include 4 new structures, bridges, upgrades to 23 existing ones, a new interchange at Dudley Port, which connects rail and metro together, bringing better and more seamless interchange across the region. Merry Hill, where we have a really popular bus station connected with metro, the waterfront that's been talked about, but also Dudley Interchange, we're going to come on to. It's worth also mentioning here in Dudley, the very light rail innovation centre. It may have been talked about in other areas, but that's a £28 million project creating a unique research facility for developing very light rail technologies. It uses a redundant stretch of railway line, giving a 2.2 kilometre test track and a 5,600 square metre facility and building. Why is that important? Well, there are many cities and authorities from around not just the UK but overseas interested in what's going on here in Dudley, looking at the very light rail and to see how the technology that's happening here in this borough can help towns and cities across Europe and the world make their connectivity better. So if I just pick on Dudley Interchange, because I think there's a key project here, we're talking about a brand new multimodal bus and metro interchange at the heart of Dudley Town Centre. This has been about not just the interchange itself, but bridging a link between the new Portersfield development, Dudley Town Centre, and making sure that it becomes seamless, adding to the sense of place in the town centre that was being talked about. It's been through a huge myriad, a number of designs to get to where this image that you see before you, and those of you that will recognise Birdcage Walk is up at the back there, just to give you a sense of geography and direction. It's looking to open later in 2022, an £18 million scheme, and we're looking for it to be a destination in its own right. That's about how do we use the place, how do we give people the ability to get a coffee, to relax, to buy things, to use retail, workspaces, and how do we really bring people together to make sure that this location is not just a transport hub, but it's a place in its own right with 21st century interchange facilities. It's got improved environmental credentials and the separation of vehicles and passengers, which is really, really important. So currently, those of you that use Dudley Bus Station today will know that you have to cross over in front of buses at several points. There are many more features on that I could talk about, but actually, I just wanted to talk on buses as well more widely. And what do buses mean to Dudley? Buses are the workhorse of the West Midlands. 80% of public transport journeys across the region are by bus. 260 million passenger journeys every single year. Transport really doesn't function without bus, and neither does metro and rail. So important is it. But there are 4 bus stations in Dudley. Dudley itself, Merry Hill, Halesowen and Stourbridge. But we have 77 bus services. So some of those operate with a couple of buses, but some of them have 15, 20 buses just for an individual service. And although we have 5 bus operators, the vast majority of our bus services are provided by National Express West Midlands that you will see operating in and around the area. Within Transport for West Midlands, we look after 1,360 bus stops in Dudley and shelters, and 110 of them now have real-time information so that people can get accurate predictions from the buses to tell them when they are going to depart. But actually, we think buses can do more. 10% of peak time journeys into Brierley Hill are by bus. 13% into Dudley are by bus. And if you compare that to Birmingham, where you're looking around 40% by bus, it is a big difference. But actually what we really need to do with our bus services is take the opportunity when the metro comes to make sure that the network, the whole network, works for the local area, not only to connect into the town centres, but then to move on into the region. It can also be a catalyst to make sure that people coming into the area, into Dudley, have good bus services. But just moving on, which I was asked to speak about, is it not coming up? What is the future of buses in this area? Well, we think it's really big and it's really, really important. Buses not only are the beating heart of the transport network, but they also in their own right connect people together. They are the things that connect friends, they connect conversations, they ensure that social isolation is reduced. And a national organisation called Greener Journeys, you may or may not have heard of them, but they're a think tank from London, and they undertook a piece of work to show that every £1 invested into bus services creates £7 worth of value to the economy, and also helps massively reduce social isolation. Here already, there are 350 new buses in the region since 2015, brand new platinum buses that we saw on the previous slide, on services coming into and out of Dudley at the moment. Those of you that use the service know the 87, the X8 and the X10, but actually one of the other operators here, Diamond Bus, they've been investing heavily into new vehicles, 50 new buses in recent times to operate some of the more local services. And one of the other things is about how much cleaner buses are getting. We now have an agreement from the West Midlands Combined Authority, it's the authority across all of the local areas, to have all buses to be Euro 6 standard by April 2021. And before anybody shows me a yellow card, because I'm taking my son to football later and I don't want to be the one person today to get the yellow card, Euro 6 is the standard of the emissions that come out of the tailpipe of the buses. But in actual fact, when this happens, each Euro 6 bus should be cleaner than an average diesel car, which is a really big milestone in terms of how we make that part of a cleaner environment as well. But in addition to that, the government have just announced an investment to us, a Transport for West Midlands, of £24 million to invest in bus priority. And that is to connect a new service to operate between Dudley and the new interchange over to the City Hospital, Birmingham, and then on to Kings Heath and South Birmingham. It's a new pilot, but it's about making sure that the buses can be reliable and predictable enough to join up services. And we're going to be embarking on projects across the local authority to deliver that as well. And as well, we anticipate that in the new year there is going to be a proposal from government for towns and cities to be able to bid to become an electric bus town or city. We actually think, confidentially in this room, that Dudley has a real strong opportunity of bidding in to have all of the fleet within the town to be electric. And it will be a competition through national towns and cities, but we think there's a real opportunity there as well. Will buses become more or less important with Metro? Our view is absolutely more. We need to review the network once Metro is delivered. It should in itself be an absolute catalyst to help regeneration and to support the vibrancy of the town centres here. But the bus network as well can play its part if it's reviewed alongside it. And as with other major towns and cities, it will be essential that the buses here connect and work as one integrated network with trams and trains and operate across the conurbation. There are many more things that we could share with you in terms of the work going on, but I hope that that has given you a snapshot of some of the investment, the profile of the public transport network across the region, and obviously we'd be happy to pick up on any questions that relate to that. Thank you for your time.